You see the title of this video. It is a travel day and it's an early one. It's 4 a.m. So, all packed up, but let's get the day started. All right, this is a very important moment. It is the first time I am leaving my apartment since I moved in 2 months ago. I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it for the next couple of days. I really like my apartment, but you know what I'm gonna miss the most? My Nespresso. That's what I'm gonna miss. But knock on wood, one of the things that I really like about living in an apartment complex, like especially this one, it's super secure and like super safe. So even if I am gone, I'm not having to worry about people breaking into my apartment, etc. Right? Knock on wood. Let's hope I don't get robbed. But we gotta head out. Each day I have my non-negotiables, which is I wake up, shower, supplements, and then I go on my walk. And even when I only have 5 minutes to get my walk done, 5 minutes is better than 0. You know, something about traveling. I love traveling, love going to the airport. I don't know what it is.
One personal item, such as a purse, briefcase, or backpack. Good morning.
Money buys time. All right, there's a huge, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a huge line for Starbucks. I just waited 40 minutes in line for my order, and 40 minutes from the time I got in line till the time I got my order. But I had nothing better to do. My flight started boarding 10 minutes ago. Might miss my flight. I'll be fine.
Your bag's above.
All right, so 5 hours later, we just got to our destination here in Charlotte. This morning, I waited in that line for Starbucks, so I got these, and then I had a latte. And then on the plane, I had 2 more coffees. And then now, I'm having an espresso with these. These are so good. And then a burrito. Starbucks. Easy, quick, simple. Good for traveling, but I'm excited to have a real meal tonight. But we just landed in Charlotte. All right, you will notice this is a little higher quality than the phone. I brought the camera just because I honestly don't use it enough, and it's a super nice setup. I just use it for all my clients' videos and then some short form stuff, but I'm gonna start using it more here. But anyway, besides the point. So I know this is gonna be one whole video, but we just traveled the whole day. I didn't really record much. It is Thursday night. I'll be here until Wednesday, and this is not really vacation, right? Just visiting family, so it's more just traveling, but still want to make sure I'm being as productive as possible. And even though it's a lot harder to build a routine while traveling, the main thing that I like to do, especially because I'm visiting family, or even if I was just visiting friends in general, etc., the biggest thing I like to do is make sure that I front load as much of all the most important things in the beginning of the day, right? So in the beginning of the day, I'll try to wake up as early as possible and just get to work so that I can get as much done before, family comes around, etc. So I'll work on all my clients' accounts. Anything that I need to do for my clients is always the first priority every single day. And then from there, it's just anything internally that needs to be addressed is what I do after that. So anything else that's important, whether it's content, whether it's, fixing automations, building new systems, etc. And then from there, so I'll try to do as much work as I possibly can within the first couple hours of the day. And then I'll go to the gym, train, and then pretty much just take meetings and calls, as many as I can, until we start doing things as a family, which is usually in the evening anyways. So it's good. I still can get a lot of stuff done, can be pretty productive, but I've always been someone who's struggled with staying in a routine when I'm not like at home. But the best thing I've found is just to keep the same rhythm in the mornings, right? Nighttime, it's hard to control, right? You're having dinner with family, you're doing different things, etc. But just that morning is super, 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 super important for me, is just to be able to get as much work done as possible and train, get all that stuff out of the way, so that then in the evening, I don't have to worry about anything that's going on in the business, and I can just, spend time with family or whatever else I'm doing. I think the most important thing is living in the moment, and being present, right? Like when I'm with family, I want to be with family. I don't want to be thinking about business. I don't want to be thinking about clients. And when I'm working on the business, I don't want to be worrying about family, right? I want to be focused in one aspect or the other, because the truth is, if you're with family and you're thinking about business, you're not present and you're not in the moment. And if you're trying to work on your business and stuff's going on, your family's trying to bug you, etc., you're not going to be focused on work, right? So that's why I really, really like to split up everything. And that goes for everything in life in general. But I think that especially visiting family, or just in general, spending time with family, super important to have, boundaries defined, right? I think it's super, super important to have set times where you only focus on the business, and then set times where you only focus on family, because if everything just gets blended up, then you're not giving anything your 100% attention, right? And of course, in order to do anything productive as efficiently as possible, you have to be focused on one thing. So that's just my take. We'll see what happens here over the next couple of days, but I'll just record everything. Probably, it's cool. It's cool here. Cool. We're in North Carolina, so it'll be cool to take videos and whatnot, but I don't know if I'll record anything else tonight. Lexi, what are we making?
Dinner.
What type of dinner?
Dinner for
Shrimp?
vegetarians.
Definitely not vegetarians. Ooh, potatoes. Ooh, salmon. Look at this freaking dog, man. All right, it is a great morning. Absolutely lovely out here. This is what I was talking about last night. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Especially in the morning, going for a walk. I mean, you guys have seen where I live in the city in San Diego. Definitely not like it is here. So, love the nature here. Just arrived at the gym over here. I mentioned in the last video that my central nervous system has just been very fried because I've been consistent with my training and I've been training hard. Even though I've been sleeping and eating right, the training has taken a toll on my body recently. So, instead of messing up my routine at home, which I do not like doing, here today, I'm just going to do recovery and sauna. They have a nice sauna here at this gym. So I'm going to take these 2 days off of lifting and just do light recovery, light sauna, and then we'll be back at it on Monday. But I really do not like to break my routine at home. So I'm glad I can do it here where I'm already out of my routine anyways. And at least get some recovery work in, get some sauna work in. So that's what I'm about to head up and do right now. Got a little Red Bull Zero here. I don't know if this is a popular opinion. I don't know people's opinions about Red Bull, but this version, the Zero, is miles better than the sugar-free version. I don't like the sugar-free version that much. Sugar-free, 7 out of 10. This is like, it's like a 9 out of 10. These are super good. But nothing too exciting. And then got some calls. I'll probably record some stuff later today. This morning, though, if you're in sales, or you're in, any sort of, if you're a business owner or whatever it is, and you take a lot of meetings, if you don't use Fathom, I highly recommend it. Fathom, it transcribes all of your calls and then also records the video itself. And it is very, very helpful because you're able to not only have a breakdown of every single call, the summaries, the transcripts, etc. But when I'm trying to get feedback on my sales process, where I need to improve in my calls, all that stuff, it comes in very, very handy. What I do is I put the transcript into Claude or ChatGPT or whatever you use, put it in there, kind of feed it, some questions like, hey, break this down, where do I need to improve, etc. But then also just watching the call back visually, because the transcript only does so much. It doesn't give you the full picture of where you need to do better, where you may be, just areas of improvement that the transcript doesn't give you, right? Obviously there's a difference between watching the video and reading the transcript. So point being, that's what I did this morning. Just spent a couple hours breaking down some calls, finding some areas to improve. And that leads me to another point, another thought that I just had. Obviously I'm in the contractor niche, so I talk to a lot of contractors, and so many of them, I hate to say it, but are very, very ignorant, right? And this goes for everyone in general. I think as a business owner, you want to be kind of free of judgment. You want to be able to do whatever you want. And as a result of that, a lot of people, they feel as if they don't need to improve anything, right? As if they're doing everything right. There's no room for improvement, especially the longer you've been in business. A lot of these guys, I'm just using these guys as an example. They've been in business 20, 30 years. And, you talk to them like, yeah, I don't need help with marketing. I've been in business 20, 30 years. I know what I'm doing. But it's funny because there's so many things to improve on. If you cannot find something to improve on every single day, you're never going to progress, and you're never going to get to the next level. And as an example, sometimes it's easy to think like, oh, what do I do? Right? Like, this is going well. Like, I don't think there's much for me to improve on right now in my business. But all it takes is 5 minutes of sitting there, and you just break something down, and you realize how much improvement, how much progress you have yet to make. So for example, let's take client acquisition, right? There's two parts to the agency, pretty much. There's client acquisition and there's service delivery. So I'm going to start at the top and then go all the way down. So there's client acquisition. Let's just take client acquisition. Client acquisition includes marketing, sales, etc. Let's take sales. Now within sales, you have setting, you have the sales call, you have the transition from the sales call to the onboarding, right? You have the VSL, the videos that you send out, right? Whatever it is. Now within the sales call, let's go another layer deeper. Within the sales call, you have discovery, you have pain, you have urgency, you have closing, you have objection handling, you have all these different parts. And then within those parts, let's say within the discovery phase, now you have so many other parts within that discovery phase. So point being, today I was like, okay, I need to look at my sales calls, and I need to improve some stuff. I didn't really know what exactly I needed to improve. Watch the call back. I found 10 different things that I wrote down of just me watching myself on the call of, okay, I need to improve this. I need to use less filler words. That's a big thing I'm working on right now, is using less filler words. And point being, you think that there's no room for improvement, but all it is you just have to sit there, you have to take a concept, you have to analyze it, and in 10-20 minutes you can find so much work to do. Like, out of the hour that I spent watching that call, watching it back, taking notes, I found 8 or 9 different things that I need to fix, all of which I could spend it would take me weeks to master each of those things. Not even weeks, so probably a much longer time. But point being, number 1, growth. If you're not growing as an entrepreneur, you are dying 100%. And then number 2, I'm running on a little bit of sleep. I forgot what my point was. But if you're not growing as an entrepreneur, if you're not always learning, you're dying. You're not taking advantage of, improvements that could be made. But number 2, if you are struggling to find something to progress on, this is my advice. Take a piece of paper, take a journal, whatever it is, put your phone away, put your phone in the other room, sit there for 5-10 minutes, brain dump, literally just start writing. Okay, what do I need to improve? What do I need to fix? What are the bottlenecks in the business? I guarantee you will find like a bunch of things. And then you take one of those things and you can spend all day, you can even spend weeks trying to fix that one thing. So sometimes it's very easy to feel like you've, figured it out, or you've done all the work that's needed, when in reality, there's always something to improve inside of the business. So I need to get going in this workout, but just a little thought I had from today. So it is 12 p.m. here, but it's 9 a.m. Pacific time, which means everyone just starting the day over there. So just had a meeting with a client. Good call, just kind of checked in on the performance, changing some things up with the offer that we're running for his ads. So gonna work on that. But right here, we got the breakfast of champions, Celsius and Fairlife protein shakes. This Celsius is so good, but I think it's discontinued now, which I don't know why they make them limited edition, but super good. Time to just get some work done. We'll see how many hours I'm here. I know I got a couple meetings today, so we'll see what we get up to. So, I don't even know when the last time I recorded was, but today is Saturday. Absolutely lovely day out here. Last night was Friday. We went out to dinner, nice steakhouse, got some dessert, got some steak. Cannot complain. It was my grandmother's 90th birthday, so that was good. But today's Saturday. I just had a meeting. I have another one scheduled for this afternoon. A lot of these contractors, Saturdays just work best because, throughout the week they're on jobs. They're rarely in front of the computer. So I just had a good meeting with a paver. Just got him wrapped up. We're going to get him onboarded this week. So that one should be going through. We'll see when he's 100% confirmed and in, but he's ready to go. So that's a good one. And then, I have another meeting. Just kind of one thing I realize when it comes to, I wouldn't say traveling. I guess traveling. When it comes to traveling, one thing that helps me is it helps me realize how many things I'm doing that aren't needed, right? Because while I'm traveling out here, I only find myself doing high leverage tasks that actually matter. And the rest of the time I'm just spending with family, or I'm spending, being outside, going to the gym, etc. And so point is, a lot of the times at home, at least for me, I feel like I'm wasting a lot of time doing things that I feel like are productive, when in reality they're not, they're meaningless. So I find that when I visit family or I travel, I figure out what things are needed and which are not needed, right? Because when you travel and, you're kind of forced to, you only have maybe a couple hours to work or whatever it is, you're forced to do the things that actually matter and actually move the needle. And then everything else you realize doesn't doesn't matter and doesn't move the needle. So that's one of the things I like about coming out here, is it's kind of like a good reset, you know, mentally and physically, and it's super nice. But yeah, nothing too crazy, just pretty chill Saturday. So that's it. I gotta eat though. Just had a Celsius. Look at this peach mango. These are so good. But yep, nothing crazy. I'm in my step grandfather's office. This is the temporary office while I am here. Very nice space. I know if I had this space, I would transform it into something really cool. Maybe get a podcast set up. Nice space. I just have my living room as my office, but can't complain. My apartment's still very nice. Good lighting too. Look at that nice view. Better than staring at the wall at home. But anyways, I just wrapped up another meeting. So 2 meetings today. Both are ready to go, so we're gonna get them on board here in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks. Just super excited. Q2 is when things start ramping up for our industry. All the way from like April until end of November is when things ramp up, things get really good, and then December is usually the worst month. But spring and summer is when things start ramping up. People want to start investing in marketing, people start having events, all this stuff, so it just starts getting busy in Q2 and Q3. So looking forward to that, because I'm just getting a taste, and it's Saturday. I'm just getting a taste of the rest, these next couple of months. So excited for these next couple of months, excited to get back home to San Diego. And it's funny because I love it here. You know, I love being here. It's very nice, get to spend time with family, etc. But now that I've been living in San Diego for 2 months, this is the first time I've left San Diego since I've moved there. And I'm realizing how much I like living in San Diego now that I'm not there. It's very blessed, very fortunate to be able to live there. Just the beaches, the weather, the people, everything's just amazing. So I've never felt this way when I lived in the Bay Area. I always wanted to be away from home, never cared about being home or, you know, missing anything at home. But San Diego is where it's at, to say the least. But regardless, I'm trying to get this meeting. Oh no, that's not him. This guy, landscaper, he already missed 1 meeting, so might have to give him a call here, see what's going on. If he's not serious, I'm not gonna waste more of my time. But it's been 10 minutes. He's not here yet, so may have to give him a call. It is Easter Sunday, and there's no better way to start off the day than with a walk out here in the nature. And as I'm walking, I'm just reflecting, and my mind is just wandering. And it's so much more peaceful, and I have so many new ideas. I'm so much more just creative and calm when I'm in an environment like this where there's just nature surrounding me. And that's definitely one of the things that San Diego doesn't have too much of, at least where I live, kind of right in the city. But can't complain. Of course, we got the beach and everything like that, but that's just one of the benefits. I think one of the most overlooked things nowadays. Everyone's inside and goes to the gym and whatnot, but just being outside in nature, the benefits that it has for your mind and your health in general are just unparalleled to anything else. And you can't achieve it unless you go outside in raw nature. So pretty cool. Like I said, if you're not interested in lifting, you can just skip this part. But essentially what I've learned is that I trained push-pull legs Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday last week. And on Thursday and Friday, my body, because I was resting, right? My body was still repairing my central nervous system to basically keep me functioning. And so on Friday, like night or Saturday, and then even yesterday, I woke up with my upper body feeling like it was getting repaired. And so what I realized was that because I've been training my upper body 4 days a week, my body has not had enough time to properly rest and repair my muscles. So essentially, what training does is it breaks down your muscles and then your body repairs them back bigger. Essentially, the way I've been training for the last 2 months has brung atrophy, I think is what it's called, to my muscles, especially my upper body. So basically just been shrinking my muscles for the last 2 months because of all the overtraining that I've been doing, which makes sense when I look in the mirror because I used to be in better shape. But I think I was just refusing to believe that overtraining was a real thing on that horizon, at least the horizon that I've been doing it at, with proper sleep and nutrition, etc. Even at 21 years old, overtraining can still be very, very harmful. So interesting to know moving forward. I really don't get into lifting too much. I try not to prioritize it at all, like in the sense of what's on my mind on a daily basis. I'm just focused on my clients and getting more clients. But so I want everything to be like on autopilot, like just go to the gym 5 days a week, train hard, don't have to worry about it. But after this last week, I'm starting to realize I need to just switch up the routine a little bit so that I'm not overtraining, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. That's the thing, is I knew I was overtraining and that it was not optimal, but I really didn't realize how bad it actually was until this week. I've experienced the physical symptoms, because if you're anyone who works out, you know that if you still feel sore a week after training, like just doing weightlifting, something is seriously wrong. So gotta change something. It's funny, it's kind of a good analogy. Everything in life requires volume. In order to get true feedback and see results, you have to do volume, even if you're not doing the perfect thing. And let's just take this lifting example, right? I'm not doing the perfect split, the perfect workout routine, but I'm taking action, I'm putting in the volume, and then giving myself feedback and making changes based on the volume and the results that I see. But a lot of people will hesitate. Maybe they won't go to the gym, or maybe they won't start the business or start making cold calls or whatever it is until they find the perfect business idea or the perfect cold call script or the perfect workout routine. But the truth is, none of it matters. Nothing matters until it's implemented, until there's action that has been taken on that idea, right? And then from there, a month in or 2 months in, that's when you make changes and you make feedback, right? Because there's a point to where just more action and more volume isn't necessarily the highest leverage move, right? But in the very, very beginning, action is always the highest leverage move. And then feedback is implemented after you've taken enough action. So it's a good little analogy that I just realized kind of applies to everything in life. Looking at the gas prices right now, $3.84. That's ridiculous for North Carolina. It used to be low to mid twos thanks to this war. Another thing I'm realizing just being out here compared to living in San Diego, it's so easy to stay small-minded and just be comfortable in a place like this. I mean, specifically, I'm in a smaller town. There's still money, don't get me wrong, but there's no sense of entrepreneurship. There's no sense of just, people who have an abundance of money. Like in San Diego, you go to La Jolla, you go to Little Italy, you go to all these places and you see things that you can never find here. And it's making me realize, I've seen a lot of, like, some entrepreneurs online, they come out of these small towns and it's 10 times harder to come out of these small towns than it is to already be living in a place like San Diego or the Bay Area or whatever, where you're surrounded by money already, and you've already seen it. You're already surrounded by it every single day. But I can't imagine growing up living in a smaller town like this, where everyone's so closed off, everyone's so small-minded. It decreases your chance of success, or being a successful entrepreneur massively, being in these smaller towns. So point being, definitely blessed to be able to live in San Diego. It's a good place for that. Well, my theory was right. 7 days since I last trained chest, triceps, and shoulders, and that was by far the best workout that I've had in months. I actually finally got a pump, and I had a good workout. And like I said, I used to be very, very in tune with getting a pump and all that stuff. I don't really care anymore. I just want to be able to work out and not feel like my muscles are depleted and decaying, which is literally what it felt like the last couple of months. I felt like my muscles were decaying because they were. So that is good. That is good. Don't have any meetings scheduled for today. Just about to make some content. Just looking at some of my clients' ad accounts, kind of planning, making any changes as needed. But I just wanted to show this. Let me see what I can cover on the screen. Don't want to expose any client information, but this is 2 months of results, $51 per lead. Not the best. We just haven't been able to get any on-site video content just because we haven't had any projects where we can come and record some proper creatives. But still, we've been booking in 50% of these leads in for estimates. So still performing very well. But I just wanted to show how many creatives we've tested over the last 2 months. I don't know how many there are here, but you'll see there are a lot. And only about 15% of these actually convert. And you'll see we have a couple of big winners. 1, 2, 3. That one's all right. That one was a good one. 4, 5, 6. Like only 10% of these are golden. That's the thing with Facebook, is people think that because they can just launch a campaign, it's not hard to launch a campaign, that they will see good results. Anyone could just launch Facebook ads, where the time-consuming, intensive work, time-consuming, and the skills comes in is the creatives. Being able to not only create a ton of different videos, photos, graphics, etc., but actually knowing which type to create. That is the hard part when it comes to scaling Facebook ads, because so many guys will say, oh, I could just run the ads myself. Anyone can turn on ads and just throw money at them, but it does not mean that they're going to convert, especially over the span of 2 or 3 months. When you're running an ad, the first month or two is pretty easy. You can just throw up, and if you have a good ad, it's going to work, but then it starts to die off. And so that's where the skill gap really comes in, is being able to actually scale ads and maintain the same performance, and actually decreasing performance over a long period of time, because anyone can launch Facebook ads and start getting some leads, right? But that's where it takes a lot of skill and a lot of time, is being able to actually scale the winners and get results on a longer time frame. So that's really the time intensive and skill intensive part of Facebook ads, is just the creative side. The creatives alone, being able to scale creatives, knowing which ones to test, which ones to not test, and then looking at the metrics. And because 80-90% of Facebook ads and the success of Facebook ads is just the creative. That's it. That's 80-90%. Once you get the leads in, of course, there's a whole different process. But getting in high quality leads all comes down to 80-90% of it is the creative itself. So today is the day we are heading out. I haven't really recorded much just because there has not been much to record. but beautiful out here. It's so nice to come out here, especially in the summer and for Christmas. Right now it's the spring, so it's kind of an odd time. There's not much to do. Christmas time is exciting. It's Christmas. Christmas time is the best time of the year out here. It's super nice. Everyone's happy, and you know, the house is decorated. I mean, it's Christmas time. You can't go wrong. And then summer's nice because it's hot outside. You get to go to the pool. You get to do golf. Spring is kind of just, spring isn't the best time to be out here, but still nice nevertheless. If I was out here for any longer, I think I'd go crazy just because of how slow it is. I mean, you see how slow it is. There's nothing out here, but it's nice to come out every couple of days. But I'm excited to get back to it. We just got, last night had a meeting with a new client, officially got him on board. So super excited for that. He's a home builder. We're going to be helping him out with some social media content. He does some pretty big homes, $1 to $2 million homes. So we're going to be helping him boost his social media presence so that he can, number one, start just getting a better presence out there, a more consistent presence. But number two, he wants to start upgrading the type of projects he does. So he wants to go from, you know, he's currently doing $1, $2, $3 million homes. He wants to start doing $4, $5, $6 million homes. So we're gonna start getting his social media presence out there by really showcasing his projects, showcasing him as the builder, as the owner, and then he's gonna be able to reach a lot of architects in the Bay Area. So super excited to be helping him out with that. And the good thing is about, or honestly the best thing about the business model of SMMA with small businesses is that they always need help, right? They always need something, whether it's a website, whether it's content, whether it's ads. So you get in the door with one service, you show them what you can do with one service, and then there's always a bigger opportunity to upsell them. Once you get in the door, you start running ads, you start getting them good leads. Guess what? You've made them a whole bunch of money. Now they want a website. Now they want this. Now they want that. So point is, that's what we're starting out with him. We're just doing content. And then we are going to, in a couple months, we're going to start moving into getting some ads going for him. He wants to start getting some ADU projects in. So we're going to start getting him in the ads here in a couple of months. Once we kind of dip our foot in the water and show him what we're going to do with the content. So excited for that. And a couple more, like I said, April's going to be a good month, but a couple more clients in the works. That's just the first one of this month, or the first new client this month. So excited for that. Bye, champion. Look at him enjoying the view.
Once I do, please stay seated until we arrive at the gate and then turn on the seatbelt sign. Weather down there is nice, just as...
We are back home. One of the things I completely forgot about San Diego is how nice the weather is. It is like 70 degrees outside, and it was a lot colder in North Carolina at night, but excited to be back. It's funny because you always want the things that you don't have, and that's something I'm trying to get better at myself, is learning how to be more present in the moment, especially just because, for example, the entire time leading up to traveling North Carolina, I was excited to visit my family, spend some time, eat some nice food, just kind of relax in North Carolina. And while I was there, all I wanted to do was get back home, back to San Diego, and work, and just like lock myself in my apartment. And now I'm back here, and I'm thinking about how nice it was to be with family and how nice it was to relax there. I mean, we have a big house, like all this stuff, but it's true. You always want what you can't have. So that's something I'm trying to do better at. But anyway, super excited here. Next couple of weeks are going to be very interesting. Pretty much just going to, like I said, lock myself in my apartment until the end of this month. I'm not planning to do anything because I have family visiting here. My dad, his girlfriend, my sister are gonna visit the first week of May. And today is April 8th. So next 22 days, next 3 weeks, I am planning to just lock myself in my apartment and just work. There's so much work to do, so many clients to bring on. All my current clients, just helping them scale, helping them get results. So really excited for a lot of the work that is about to come over the next couple of weeks. So about to get Chipotle right now, but I think that's about it for this video. I'm not even sure what it is. It's probably gonna be garbage. It's probably not gonna be that good. It's just gonna be me talking the entire time, but I'm just gonna throw together the clips I have from this trip and upload them on YouTube. So excited. I'll see you guys in the next video.